just had a really harrowing experience at work. I have this one coworker who simply refuses to use the correct pronouns for me. I've called her out every time she misgenders me, and she just is resigned to not change. And today just broke something in me. I just snapped. I ended up yelling at her after the third time she misgendered me, and within like 30 minutes, like, I use they, them pronouns. And she got so defensive. And I just started explaining to her, like, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Like, you need to at least make an attempt. And she popped off, got upset, got defensive. What are you gonna do about it? And I just said, I'm gonna be really hurt and sad. Like, that's all I can do about it. And the worst part is that at that point, my boss, who claims to be so woke and, like, happy and joyous and making a safe, positive environment for everybody, gangs up on me with her and says, like, Carson, like, shut up, this is not the time for a political statement. And I was upset. And it really is within our own community that people have the most rampant transphobia. The coworker that refuses to use the correct pronouns for me claims to be bisexual, and she stands up and goes, when I came out as bisexual, everybody was mad at me. It's like, then why are you mad at the trans kid? Like, what? You want to inflict that same pain onto me? Why? It's so frustrating, because then my boss spins it around as, like, I'm the one who's making a scene and is being, like, over-emotional or oversensitive. And it's like, all I am asking is for you to make an attempt to try and respect my gender identity. And they're both just going at me like, this is not the time. We're trying our best. You should be compassionate and understanding. You should just accept it with love and move on. Like, it's so frustrating. I literally was shaking so hard. I just got up and left. I came to the beach. I didn't know what else to do. I was so mad.
All right. So I always have questions on people's respectability processes. Like, what do you deem respectable to someone? Like, what do you deem respectable? You're at a work environment. You're at a place where you all right. We'll make it big so I can see.
Oh yeah.
I want to say this, and I want to say this correctly, because I have views on all things. So my one of my main views is it doesn't cost you anything to respect someone. It just doesn't cost you anything to respect someone. It just does not. And you know, it just don't. It ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna kill you. It ain't gonna take food out your mouth. It's just not going to bother you to respect someone. It's just not. Mo, it just don't. It don't hurt. Also, you're at work. You're not in your home. You're not in your bubble. You're not in your space. You're at work. You're not at the person. They're not asking you to get on your knees and tell them that you know that they were born this and they were born that, and because that doesn't really have anything to do with them. They just really want you to, when you're having a conversation with them, a respectable conversation with them, to use the proper pronouns. The same way I ask. It's the same thing I ask. For us to share a space together, would you please, these are my pronouns when you are communicating with me. She, her, and hers. That's it. I don't give a fuck when you go on the outside and do X, Y, Z. If we got to coexist together, my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm not asking you to go against anything that you believe. Right. However, if we got to work together, this is a work environment. This is a work environment. Respect is free. Respect is free. Like, I don't understand the going all out of your way to disrespect a person. Okay, if you tell them, I don't understand how to use they and them in a sentence when talking to a singular person. Because I've had people say that. Now, when it comes to that Demi Lovato, I don't.
That's a different story.
Bo,
That's a different story.
I try to respect Demi Lovato. But one minute,
you heard
her, she and her. The next minute, you they and them. This and this. And a bitch. Until you stop snorting that coke, you're white lines to me. You say you just called Demi Lovato a spoon? Me too. Because it gets very confusing when it comes to this stuff changing for them every 30 seconds. There's no changing with me. There is she and her. Mo, there's he and him. Miss Mary, what's wrong, babe? You okay? What's your pronouns, Miss Mary? She and her? Her and she? And Miss Mary. So when you don't know how to address someone, it is so simple for you to ask them. That's it.
Or you could just call them by their name.
Or name. And whatever your name is. And if you and listen, I'm old school. I will and because I'm not going to be over here in the delusional land like Mo and talk about that I'm that young. I'm not that young. And I'm
not delusional, Maddie. Don't do that. I'm not delusional.
Mo, you're not that young either.
But I'm young enough.
You're not that young, Mo. I'm not going to keep doing this with you. Okay? Miss Mary said her pronoun is mama. Right. So I'm going to forget your name. Especially if I don't talk to you all the time, I'm going to forget your name.
Right.
And so because I forget your name, I'm going to say baby. You're going to get baby all the time from me. All the time. Mo, I may be in the midst of something. I done forgot who I'm talking to. And I'm like, baby, listen, baby, tell me your name, baby. Those are your pronouns to me. It's baby. And Mo, you done seen me do it. Yeah. Baby, listen, I can't remember. Baby, what's your name, baby? Baby, tell me your name, baby. Baby, your name. That even goes down to the men.
Yeah.
Baby, what's your name? Baby, I can't remember, baby. I'm from the South. So you're going to get, and it's definitely, Bryce said murder. It right. It's definitely murder. Everybody's pronouns is murder for me.
Or child.
Child.
Yep.
Murder. I don't know what it is. And so because, if I'm confused, because there are a lot of you out here, I want to tell you, there are a lot of you out here that live confusing lives. For me. You know? I look at you and you have a beard and you have, you know, and you saying that you're trans. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I squint. And so to avoid all of that, baby. I promise you, baby, what's your name? What's your name, baby? Because I don't know you. Please let me call you by your name. And because I know how to use your name in a sentence.
Right.
Just like I don't know that baby's name on this video. But the baby said that they identify as they and them. I was confused for a while how to use they and them in a sentence until I started talking to people. I remember me being at a conference that I was a headline, and at the conference, when I talked at the conference, one of the people there was a non-binary person. I had never encountered a non-binary person before, so I didn't know how to say they and them. I didn't know how to do it. And so what I ended up doing was saying, okay, can you please teach me how to how to have a conversation with you so that I can understand? Because I want to respect you because we occupy space. Here's the thing. We're occupying space. Now, when I got home, what it looked like to me was a she. That's what it looked like to me. No shade. I'm not going to lie. When I got home, it looked like a she to me. Well, excuse me. They looked like a she to me. So I referred to them as she or her at first. When I was working on the set of Bros, because it was a diverse set, there was trans men, trans women, non-binary people. There was a lot of identities there on set. And so because there were a lot of identities there on set, we had to go through a training, a media training where we had to understand how not to offend people and stuff like that. We had to go through a training like that. And I was like, oh shit, the first thing I said was, oh, I'm getting fired. When I said that shit, when I get to work, I'm getting fired. I said, oh God. So I got to try to remember everybody's name. And I let everybody know on the spot, baby, I'm from the South. I'm not going to remember your name. So I'm going to call you baby. And you know what they told me? What? Madison, that's okay because you're trying.
But I noticed that what you also do is, even when you get into a room, you will even ask people, what are your pronouns? I've heard you ask people like, what are
I always
pronouns?
ask people what are their pronouns. Yeah. Especially when we're at a conference and we're at something and it's a room full of fucking people. We're in a time, we have to adapt to what's going on. I'm sitting in a room full of people. I can't just be over here assuming because this person got on a suit and tie that his pronouns are he and that this person's pronouns are he and him. Because clothes, again, I'm going to say this, and I'm not assimilating. I've learned this. Because clothes and hair and all this stuff does not make the identity. It does not make the identity. Just like I was in a place where I was with the brat. And I told the brat, I said, girl, I know you got on I know you wear some fine ass boxer briefs. She said, no, I don't, bitch. She said, bitch, I wear motherfucking panties, nice lace, beautiful, pretty panties. That's what she said to me. When I got out on stage, I made it my business. When we did that show with Amanda Seals, I made it my business to openly apologize to her in front of a crowd of people who didn't even hear our conversation. I made it my business to do that because I wanted her to know that I assumed that because she was butch and because she presented a certain way, I assumed that she wore boxer briefs or she wore boxers. She told me, bitch, I wear motherfucking panties, bitch. Let me let you know, I might be a thug, but I'm all woman. I say, I got it. I understood. And so when I walked out on stage, I said, let me tell y'all something. I made a mistake in the back room. And I told my sister that I know she had on some real handsome ass boxer briefs. And we laughed and joked about it. But she was serious. She seriously told me that she wears panties and nice lace panties. But that's what she told me. She told me I wear nice lace panties. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I got on stage and I apologized to her. And I said, I want y'all to know that I fucked up. And I told my sister said she don't do all that. My sister said she wear her motherfucking panties. And so we can't assume because of the things that we look at with our eyes, like I'm looking at with the eyes, like, you know, I have had I met in Canada a trans person that told me that their pronouns were, what was it that they said? No, excuse me. They told me that they were trans. Now, visually, what I saw
Uh-huh. Was something completely different.
was something completely different. What I saw was something completely different. And because I saw something completely different than what they told me they were, it was imperative to me because I want to have a working environment. It was imperative to me that I said to them, please tell me how to address you because I want to address you in a way that's comfortable for you. And I don't want to project what I think I see. Flame, you say you're going to stay he, she, we? Flame say that's her identity. Flame say her identity is he, she, we. Push out. So I just was like, okay. When she told me that her pronouns are she, her, and hers, I looked at her again so that I can get a good look. Miss Mary. I looked at her so I can get a good look again. After I got my full good look, I kept that and I reconstructed it in my brain to see a she, her, and hers. That's just what I did. I took a very, I'm telling you, because it took a lot for me to take a good look. After she told me she was trans, I took a good look and I was finding the areas that would make me say she and her. I was surveying the areas. Okay, so when I say she and her, I'm going to focus on her hair. I'm going to focus on that. When I say she and her, I'm going to focus on her hair. I'm going to focus on it. Because if I focus on the other stuff that's going on, it's going to be hard for me. So every time I spoke with her and I talked to her, I looked at her hair so that it could put me in the space of saying she, her. Because bitch, everything else, I was like, girl, what in the hell is going on in here? But that doesn't mean that I want you to change your thoughts of how, just like with me, there are a lot of people out there who say, I'm not going to call you her, she and her. I'm not going to do that. And that's okay. We're not going to have a conversation. It's okay. You're not going to call me she and her. You're going to call me him and you're going to call me by my old former name and all this stuff. There's no reason for us to even be indulging in any type of conversation. We're not doing that. I'm not trying to change your views and opinions. I'm not trying to change your thought process. I just ask you to respect me. Again, before we get off of this topic, if you don't know what the pronouns are, or you don't even attempt to try to know what the pronouns are, just call the people by their name.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. It's that simple. Just call the people by their name. That's it. It don't cost you nothing. All right, let's go to the next thing, Mo.